and welcome to Sächsische Schweiz, to the Osterzgebirge, to Altenberg in Saxony in Germany. The Sachsen Energie Ice Canal is the venue for the second consecutive year for the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships. Of course, the COVID crisis was just bursting as we finished our World Championships here in 2020. And in this craziest of all seasons, we are back. Martin Haven and John Morgan at distance, like the fans are watching the action. And John, this is still some venue to go racing at, the track that is too tough to tame.
Yeah, that's what they refer to in NASCAR, the Darlington track in South Carolina. And Martin, this isn't what we saw last week in Innsbruck. This is a challenge from Curve 1, Curve 2. You know, this is heavy speed immediately, almost 60 miles an hour. Omega, big sweeping left. Three-corner combination, the Labyrinth. High speed, no mistakes allowed. Now this little curve here, 8. Brings you all the way down the long straightaway into Kreisel. Wow, big pressure and lots of pressure to get out of here clean. And then these little two-corner combination may be the toughest two on the planet. Now this big sweeping 13, airborne into 14 if you don't watch it. Uphill out of 15. Track record 2018, and the sweeping pressure of the finish. It's busy from top to bottom. It's a challenge. This is a big boy track, but today, Martin, it's a big girl track. It's a lot of challenges on the athletes.
There certainly are. Katrin Beil of Austria, for the first time ever, an Austrian women bobsledder, has won the Crystal Globe. She was the season's champion ahead of Germany's Kim Kaliki and Mariama Yamanka. Andrea Grecu, 4th. Young Lara Nolte of Germany, 5th. Our junior world champion ahead of Melanie Hassler. It was a crazy season in all sorts of ways. We didn't have any North American sliders until after the Christmas New Year break. So Kaylee Humphries, Alana Moore, Myers-Taylor and more were a long way back. There's Lolo Jones. She'll be starting the World Championships. Katty Beil there with the Austrian team. And a lot resting on this. Germany with 4 teams in the competition because Kim Kaliki is here, as well as Stephanie Schneider and Mariama Yamanka. And the junior world champion, from whatever nation they come, gets a free entry. So that is a 4th German sled, the junior world champion, Lara Nolte. Well, John, right now the weather is good, but the forecast for the winter weekend is quite a lot of snow. So, as ever, the way the World Championship rankings run over 4 races, almost your first heat is your most important because it sets up your position pretty much for the rest of the competition to get good ice.
Well, the rabbit, you know, it does make it a difference. I mean, in Innsbruck last week, we saw those early sleds having a huge advantage. It's about the weather. It's about the humidity in the air, Martin. And here's our first rabbit.
We get our BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Championships underway with BFR athletes Lubov Chernik and Elena Mamedova for the driver Chernik. It's a 3rd World Championships. She starts 5:83. The start record is a 5:54.
13th in last year's World Championships, Martin, and you know, she's way back in points, but she wasn't in the first 3 or 4 events. Best finish of the year, 9th in the 2nd Eagles race.
She's missed a couple of the World World Cup races. Yeah.
Exit, watch this. That's a good exit. Track looks pretty tame. Oh, watch out for this skid here in the air. We're going to be doing this for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This track is never tame, but the ice is in stunning condition. 122.5 kilometers an hour down at the bottom. A 57.73. The track record is a 56.22. That's 1.5 seconds away. But Lubov Chernik was very sideways a lot of the way down. Her brakewoman, Elena
Martin, she's
Mamedova.
down.
Yeah, she is down. Finished 6th here with Nadezhda Sergeyeva.
Oh, look at these lines. That is not how to do it. And then this is the crossover where she taps, and that throws you in the belly of the next curve. More steering, more friction. Look at the brakeman come up, Martin. Look at the eyes. Look at see the brakeman's head come up. She thought she was in the finish.
That's past where our commentary position normally is. So we're not warming up the commentary box and waking up the dead flies this year. Cynthia Appia with Erika Voss, the 24-year-old brakewoman, making her first World Championship start. Erika on the back.
Start record.
She's only done 3.
Oh, way off the start record.
Yeah, I think we'll be a while off the start record. Maybe in the second heat of either day.
Up and down on Omega. She taps a little bit too. And Martin, it's her first World Championship as a driver.
Yep. 12 of our 40 athletes have never started the World Championships before, and Cynthia is one of those. Erika Voss has only done 3 bobsleigh races in her career officially in IBSF records.
This is great, though. I mean, Martin, what a way to debut in the World Championships in the front seat. It's not like Cynthia's got a huge amount of experience.
Yeah, 2 years of driving since the 2018 Games. Graham Richardson happy with that, and he rightly should be. 57.09, nearly 6,500s quicker than Lubov Chernik, and Chernik is a recognized bobsled driver of more standing than Cynthia Appia. That's a really good first run.
Martin, it looks like a rented sled. Does that look like her sled from last week?
Yeah, no, this is the sled that the Jamaican guy, Shan Stevens, was driving for the last couple of weeks. So it is a rental.
Well, she was 4th last week in Innsbruck in her first ever World Cup. That was a statement, but that's Innsbruck. This is Altenberg, and Martin, that's an excellent run.
Yeah, really good start to the championship. And that's such a confidence builder as well for Cynthia Appia and Erika Voss. Well, next up, her more experienced Canadian teammate, Alicia Rissling, with Dawn Richardson-Wilson. Dawn, a World Championship rookie for Alicia. This is her 4th. And she did team competitions as well in Innsbruck, Koenigsee, and Whistler.
In the training, at least Alicia had better times. 600s back at the start. But she's been on this track a lot, Martin. She got a lot more experience. You know, and the Canadians, look at that loop. No, she gets through there without tapping the take-on. That's an achievement between Omega and 5. 1200s back, that's relative to the start. If you look at the training results, she's going, well, 12 to 12, best speed. She should start to eat into that deficit right here, Martin. 11. Pressure, nice, perfect. 5, she's going to catch in the bottom. Here comes experience, Martin, right here. You know how to drive this track, you'll get rewarded. Oh. Look at that, she doesn't get it, though.
No.
I'm telling you, we've only seen Cynthia Appia last weekend and the first heat of the World Championships. I think that's some rising star that Canada's got. For her to come out here and put that run down and beat it.
They were happy with that. 574 is what they pushed. And that, again, that does show what a good run Cynthia Appia had. Blows away the cobwebs, gets rid of the nerves, and it puts her in the frame. And you can't ask for more than that. And Alicia Rissling, 300s behind.
Martin, and these were not bad lines at all by Rissling. I thought she was going to catch Appia in the bottom because Appia doesn't have the experience. A little bit of drift there, but...
Hey, enough, 3 to go.
Yeah. Well, next up, our World Cup champions, Kati Bile of Austria and Jennifer Onosanya. 5th World Championships for Kati Bile, 4th for her brakewoman. Katie made her debut, predictably enough, in Innsbruck. She raced in Koenigsegg, in Whistler, and last year here in Altenberg. 9th place then, 4th in Whistler. I'd forgotten that.
Start. This is their key to winning the World Cup title. She was only on the podium 3 times, Martin, and she wins the World Cup title. Now, Kaliki didn't go to all the events, which was an advantage, but still, the reason Catherine is doing so well is because of her improved start times, as is the whole Austrian team. Why the Austrian team has done so well. Only
off the podium.
3rd best speed.
Only off the podium 4 times and never out of the top 10. So she was fast and consistent. She's got the lead. Kaliki can be 4th in Whistler. Yeah. Very skinny.
Flying though, Martin.
The ice is absolutely polished to mirror perfection, isn't it? 122.9, 56.94. Track record is 56.22. That is still 7/10 away. It's Kaylee Humphries and Felicia George. Maybe not in the first heat. Second heat, air might warm up. Track might get even glossier.
She wasn't very happy with that. I mean, of course, it's Altenberg. Look at this crossover. Look at the runner tips on the exit of this curve if they give it to us. Like, there's the skid. That's her problem. Hits the big pressure at 13, climbs, comes over to this right wall. See if the back runner goes airborne. Yep, there's the first sled we see go airborne. And then, Martin, you can roll into that curve, as we know, and then the exit. So her mistake 3 corners ago, it's still costing her.
Yep. Anja Schneider-Heinze down there in the black jacket at the bottom, overseeing operations, former world champion. Next up, Kim Kaliki, our world championship silver medalist last year, still just 23 years old. Last year was her first ever world championships, and Kristen Strack, her brakewoman, in her 4th. She took silver in Whistler 2019 with Steffi Schneider. Let's see if they can combine for a medal here as well.
Start, the best start, you know, on a track she's very familiar with. Watch the lines at Omega. Up, down, that's Norm. Nice exit.
Last week in Innsbruck, for the first time in her life, Kim Kaliki was off the podium in a World Cup race that she started. That had never happened before.
Martin, these are excellent lines with the best speeds. Yeah. Taps on the way to here. You don't want to do that. She gets away with it.
She missed St. Moritz because she was training here. Big skid.
You could just, doesn't matter. Look at what this track does to you. Doesn't matter who you are. Look at that. Wow. That jars the feelings.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's at 75 miles, 72 miles an hour. Hitting like that, I mean, put a monitor on, put something way to measure how much force that was into that wall. 56.69, Martin, and that was not perfect.
No. Again, they've got to dial themselves into these race conditions. The Ice Meister here, Hans Mender, just produces stunning World Championship tracks.
And this is in 15. She had to really do the Robin Hood there because she got in late after that skid. Almost hit the lip up into the 16 curve. Double hit, and then she's late. Watch what happens here. She's late, and watch the wall. Bang! I don't know if we're going to see anybody else hit that hard, Martin.
It takes 3 or 4 big, strong guys to lift a fully laden sled. That flew. Kim Kaliki, the leader in the first heat. Olympic champion Mariama Yamanka has 24-year-old rookie Vanessa Mark behind her. Vanessa starting her first World Cup season this year. She's been Mariama's go-to brakewoman.
Pretty good start for Mariana. Pretty impressive brakeman, Mark. Don't know much about her, but just the way she ran and jumped into that sled. Yeah. Germans have got quite a corral of female brakemen on their squad, that's for sure, like the United States.
Well, We know they go hunting at track meets and all sorts of other disciplines to find athletes, and they sure managed to find some skidding down the hill.
You know, in training, Yamenka was the 4th German in training, and doesn't look like she's going to catch her teammate, but she does have the second time at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much been the 4th German all year long, hasn't she? No matter who else has turned up.
She's going to be 3rd. 3rd, probably.
Yep.
Second.
Ooh,
So
second
she does
place,
push. She picked up
just
some
ahead
time.
of Katy Bile.
Martin, she was 2700ths behind at 12, and she's only 1900ths behind at the finish. So she was behind Catherine Brill at, you know, and all of a sudden picked it up at the bottom.
Olympic champion
She has been the
2018, world champion 2019. Yeah, she's struggled, hasn't she?
She has been the 4th best German in training, yeah. Exit here out of 9. Little drift, runner tips. You know, she's not steering away from the trouble. Hits the wall, comes straight. Here, hardly anybody. I think the only person we saw come straight down there was Alicia Riesler. Everybody's skidding.
So Marianne Yamenka with plenty to think about. If you're going to have a bad year, have it the year before the Games, not the year of the Games. Angia Grecu for Romania. 7th World Championships for her, her 3rd as a driver. She hasn't completed either. She crashed out in Whistler and here last year. Doesn't get in very well.
Martin, when she crashed here last year, I think she was in a top 7 position when she crashed in the 2nd run. We were all excited because she had just come off a silver medal in the World Cup final in Sigulda, and it was a devastating crash for her and the Romanian program. She had so much hope and promise.
Katrina Witt, a great woman, 24 years old, 1st at World Championships for her.
End of the sled, nice. Crossover, great. Runner tips here. Trouble. Lots of Robin Hood there. Watch her see if she hits her in the finish. No, she'll get through okay. 6th out of 7. 4,800's back, but there's 3 sleds in the 40s now, Martin. So she's only 8 out of 4.
Yep. Ampia, Rissling,
but again,
and
she's got some demons to drill with on the track. Martin. Yeah. She wants to make the 4 heats and just say, okay, where'd I finish? Because it's a, you know,
this might be one to survive.
We used to say,
exactly.
We used to say man against the mountain. Now we say, you know, female against the mountain. And this mountain on this ice canal here in Altenberg is a challenge. And the exit here comes over. Everybody's got this problem, Martin. They're almost totally sideways in a straightaway. You don't ever see that on any other track,
sled goes,
but here.
Sled goes over the brow there and gets light. So if you're in a skid, it makes it much worse. The pink gloves of our junior world champion, Lara Nolte. She's also the European champion. Deborah Levy behind her. These two have been together almost all season long. 22 in her 2nd World Championships. Lara Nolte crashed out in Heat 2 last year. And look at that start.
Start to 30, yeah. That's right down there. 100th off the start record.
100th off the record.
Well, let's see what she can do. She's got a little demons to deal with here on this track, Martin. 1600ths lead. Now, you know, again, she crashed out last year, and when she was in a medal position, perfect, 1400ths back, best speed. With that speed, she should accelerate away here with clean lines. Oh, but she's not. 3rd best speed. Totally in good. A little airborne there. Now, Martin, I don't think she's going to have it. It's going to be close. Right to the 100th with Kaliki.
1600s, wow, she found something at the bottom. She was clean there.
Martin, like we saw with Yamenka, we thought Yamenka was going the wrong direction, and we went from 2,700s down to only 19 at the bottom. The same with Nolta. She was 700s ahead, and I thought she was losing it, and she came up with a 1,600s lead. So there is time on the bottom part of this track.
Yeah, if you drive it clean and you don't skid past where our commentary positions would normally be if we were at the track, if you don't skid there, then
Those
you get clean
lines.
in here.
Great lines there. Look at the airborne runner. Look at that. She gets in here late. But Martin, most people getting in there late will come out of here with a big skid. Now she comes over to the right side of the screen, but she drifts over to the take-on on her terms. Yeah. She got on that take-on of 15 when her terms. That's probably why she gained a 10th on the bottom.
German 1, 2, 3. Next up, Melanie Hassler and Irina Strabel. Huge day for them as they got a World Cup bronze medal in St. Moritz. Bronze medalists in the Junior Worlds the following week.
Boy, start way off, Martin. Thought there were better starters than that. She's done pretty good this season too, Martin. 4th and 5th in the first 2 races, and then she medaled in the St. Moritz her race on her track. It was, you know, that was the biggest moment of her sliding career. That's a dangerous line there.
Irina, the brake woman's been away for a season and a half. She was injured, then she started to study, came back this year, and she is in her second World Championships.
Oh! That's the closest yet to being over. She tapped
track takes
11, 12.
No prisoners.
Takes no prisoners for the commentators too, Martin. I mean, edge of your seat every sled.
Yep, absolutely. You can't take your eyes off them.
No. And Innsbruck could casually look away from the screen and look at some times and some results. Not here.
Brake woman Irina was in the brake woman Irina was in the Worlds in Whistler, crashed out with Martina Fontenev, and Melanie Hassler, her first World Championships was here last week.
She's hurt.
Yeah, she is hurt. That's why the start was so slow.
Yeah.
I think she's crying because I think she has pulled a muscle.
Something happened at the start. It alarmed me because she was a better starter than that. Look at this, these pictures. Martin, whoa. And then watch the skidding here. Now watch the back end of the sled. If they show us going through here, watch the air she gets here in the back. No, we don't see that.
Well, imagine if she's pulled a hamstring at the start and that's burning away at her and she's trying not to crash on the way down. Next up, her teammate, Martina Fontenev, 4th World Championships, 19th in Koenigsegg, crashed out in Whistler, 7th here last year. Nadia Pasternak behind her in her 2nd Worlds.
Start, you know, is her albatross. Drives pretty well, Martin.
Yeah, she's had a good season driving.
Track. She was disqualified in the 2nd Sigulda race. That was because of a crash, right, Martin?
Yeah.
These are excellent lines. Let's see the speed, you know. Well, considering the start, she's doing pretty good. Lines here, pretty quiet. Excellent. She should get rewarded down here, Martin. She could get in top 4, maybe 5. 5, right behind.
Yeah.
And she's 5th. She's ahead of Cynthia Appia. 6th best start time, 5th best down time. That was a very good run, Martin. Very good eye hands coming down this very challenging ice canal.
Now the question is, did she have a little bit too much control and not enough speed?
Well, in the first heat, Martin, it might be about having some control, you know.
Survive the first day. Yeah, that might be the way to go on this track, particularly,
That's the best line, maybe other than Riesling we've seen come down in that section, 14 to 15. Little late on the exit of 15. You know, she didn't pick up as much time as Jamaica or Nolta did, but pretty good run, pretty good opening run for her.
Next up, Great Britain's Misha McNeil with Montel Douglas. Misha's 7th World Championships, 3rd for Monty. Misha made her debut in Samaritz in 2013. They were 8th place here last year.
Was this the track where she was in the lead at the World Cup, Mark?
Yeah, led after the first heat in the World Cup a couple of years ago and slid out to 4th place in the second heat. She's had a couple of 4th place finishes on the track.
Ooh, bad hit there. She's had 2 big hits up here, Martin, and she did not go into that curve well. And she's already 7/10 back, Martin. Those 2 mistakes really cost her on top.
Yeah, the back is skidding around all over the place, and she's the slowest sled so far.
Now, when you tap the walls up there before Omega and then at the exit of Omega, and you have efficiency at the start. Hard to figure out, Martin. I mean, she's 1 second down, and Martin, a couple years ago, look at the perplexed look there. She's 1 second down. A couple years ago, she was the leader at the end of the first heat in the World Cup. So you know, what can you say? I mean, a sport of hundreds of seconds to an athlete who's had great success on this track.
She can't afford to lose any more time.
She's got 3 more heats.
Second and a quarter back.
She's got 3 more heats to improve from that run.
She'll be 5 seconds back after the end of the competition at that rate.
Up here, this is the top of the track. You can't hit like that before that big curve Omega. Bang, and then back up in the outlet. Now watch how hard she hits her on the exit on the take on it. She goes flying into the curve late. She has to steer hard. That's a quarter of a second, if not more.
Yeah. She hit everything there was to hit up top, and that really didn't help. Lauren Alter, Kim Kaliki, Mariama Yamanka. We're first way through heat 1 of 4 in the Women's Bobsleigh World Championships. Alana Myers-Taylor and Sylvia Hoffman for the USA. Double gold in the World Championships for Alana. 2 team gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze medals as well. 5-6-0. Good start.
Well, she's been famous for having the best starts, but she got beat here by 500s by Nolta.
Raced here in 2000.
This track too.
Yeah, raced here in 2008 in the Worlds, pushing Erin Pack, her first World Championship start. This is her 10th Worlds.
Hanging in there, 2/10 back. Didn't have the best of training times. Yeah. She's coming back start, though. Pretty good.
Top 3 run needs to be in the frame. It is a top 3 run, but it's still a quarter of a second back. She needs to find a little bit more.
Go back to the results here, Martin. She doesn't have a lot of great success on this track.
Yeah, winner in 2015. That's her only gold medal here.
As I say that, then you remind me she won a gold medal here too. So,
yeah, but that's 5 years ago, and in a different world.
She's in a different sled. A little skid that cost her some time. How did she do here out of 14? Better than most.
And she did not come here for paid training like a lot of the other athletes did. They missed a World Cup race or 2. She figured she needed the competition. Next up for France, rookies Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal, under 23 world champions. Carla Seneschal returning from a few weeks away with injury. And they've had some time on this track to try and dial themselves in. 587 stars.
You know, a 5th in Sigulda, a 6th in the Innsbruck #1 race. She had a pretty good season, Martin. I mean, her start time is way back. But again, you know, pretty good launch to her career with those 5th and 6th early in the season.
Yep. Two girls getting a lot of airtime. Getting a lot of airtime on French TV. French TV have suddenly picked up that they've got 2 glamorous blonde females competing in an Olympic discipline and doing well.
8200s back. She might be able to keep it within 9000s.
Top 10 for Margot.
She did pretty good on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Ahead of Melanie Hassler, ahead of Misha McNeil and Lubov Chen. Lubov Chen's first heat was a shocker.
Yeah. She had that Elvis thing, you know.
Yeah.
But
and it sort of didn't look that bad, but it wasn't that great, that's for sure. So the French are in the top 10 at the moment.
Up and down, that's normal. But the key is don't go so high that you exit and hit the wall on the right. Does she? Yes.
Yeah.
That pushes you into the next curve. And that's a lot of time loss up there. Late on 9, she got away with that, Martin.
Yeah.
Boy, she pretty disciplined in not steering away from that mistake, and then it comes straight.
Kaylee Humphries for the USA, with Lolo Jones making her first regular World Championship start. Lolo's been at 3 Worlds before. She's been in the teams competition twice, but never in the women's bob competition. This is your world champion.
Well, keep it within 800s of Nolta here, and I think she'll be happy. 1600s. It's going to be tough, but this is the world champion. She's won on this track. Racing for 2 different countries.
4 wins here. 4 wins here, including last year's World Championships. So
1600s to 2400s.
Mark, this is one of her favourite tracks. Looks like a BTC to me.
Doesn't look like the sled she was driving last week.
No. Best speed for Kaylee Humphries. I think this
only
is her old
900s
favourite
back
BTC.
from a quarter second.
She has the lead. She loves this track. Drivers can make a difference, she says, and the driver has made the difference. We have a race on our hands.
2,500s back at the third of the way down the track. Very few, if any, athletes can overcome that deficiency like Kaylee Humphries just did. And Martin, we got to find a little more information out about the sled. I asked about it yesterday in the press conference. I didn't get any answer.
Yeah, it's a BTC.
But so she's got, this is the 3rd sled we've seen her drive since she's been back on tour since January. And what's she do with it? I mean, she so she only had, what, 6 trips this week? She didn't take the last trip of training. She only took 5 trips.
And don't forget, you know, this is the sled where her last year as a Canadian athlete, she drove a BTC. She drove a BTC for the USA last year. That's where she's happiest. Now, what about Stephanie Schneider? Schneider could be a huge challenge. Silver medalist in Whistler, only 5th here last year, with Leonie Fiebig behind her in her 3rd Worlds. Good starting crew, 5:61.
Damit bessere Startzeit als Kaylee Humphries.
Stephanie had a rough World Championships in Whistler a few years ago, Martin.
Yep.
There's a mistake there. And I think Whistler and Altenberg have similar personalities. Whistler's more of a, you know, a speed track, super speedway. These are great lines, 600s back, 7th best speed. That's a lot to do with that tap out of Omega.
But if you can
Watch out!
If you can keep
Watch
it
out.
clean down here, sideways. Nobody's been that sideways. Schneider lives on a knife edge, doesn't she? All the time. You always get the sense
Look at that
something
hit.
might happen.
Wow.
They hit at the bottom. Wow.
Martin, she just lost
really
all sorts
does.
of confidence
Yeah.
on the bottom part of that track right there. But, you know, 11-12, I thought she was over out of 11. She was tapped out of the, I think she tapped out of the Kreisel. But she's got 4 heats to mend what she
felt all of that.
Watch her come over here. See that skid she's got there? Now watch how high she gets here. Now that's late, and watch the crossover. Look at the runners. Look at, that's so much pressure. And then the skid here. Martin, this is where she was real close. She got away with it there. She corrected by there, but watch this skid. Perfectly straight there, and then the finish ducks her head. Look at the way the back end of the sled came up.
Well, you can
Martin,
see her on the
she's got
straight,
3
she's
more
so low
heats.
in the sled. She's always looking round the side. Kaylee Humphries, our leader. Final 5 sleds of the first heat. Women's Bobsleigh World Championships. This is Anne van Nieuwenhuis and Sarah Aerts of Belgium. 7th World Championships for Anne. Her first was as a driver last year. 11th here. She was 8th in Whistler. And again, like Kaylee Humphries, likes this track because the driver makes a difference, not just the start.
We saw that, like what Kaylee just did. But Martin, they say in a golf tournament, and you could say in a bobsled race, because there's 4 rounds in golf, there's 4 heats in bobsledding. You can't win the race in the first heat or the first round, but you can certainly lose, lose your spot. And I think that's what happened to Schneider. I think she put herself in a position right out of the medals. And as usual, good lines. I mean, with the start, 15th best start, she's going to drive herself under 12th, 13th.
Yeah, 12th
12th,
place.
look at that.
Little
Tom
skid
knows
below the
that's a good
Kreisel,
drive.
took some speed away. Well, 11th place last year. She would love to be further up in the top 10 at the moment. 10th place is 2/2400ths away, Alicia Rissling, so she needs to have a much tidier final 3 runs. We have 20 sleds in the competition, 20 go in the 4th heat, so all should be able to complete it. Is this where the skid comes?
Exeter 9. Hit, look at the rudder tips. She's not steering away from it. She just says, let it go. Ooh, there she did. And that caused the skid. The second hit, she tried to get off there.
World Championship bronze medalist Christine de Bruin. She's had 3 medals in the last 2 Worlds because she got a bronze in Whistler and a team silver in Whistler as well. Sarah Villani, her brakewoman, just 24, first World Championships. This will be her 12th IBSF race in her career.
So only 200s back from Kaylee, which was the 9th best start. Can't get away with the 9th best start in Innsbruck. On this track, you can, if you know how to use your eyes and hands to come down. 1600s, that's not bad. There's a skid there, though. Stop the bleeding. She keeps it within 2500s here. 36. 13th best speed. Has the ice conditions of the track fallen away?
No. Not this early in the day.
Can't win the medal in the. You can't win the medal in the first run, but you can certainly lose it.
Wow. That's a disaster.
Wow. 1 second back. Martin, I say ice conditions. This is last year's bronze medalist. It wasn't a perfect run. That wasn't a bad run. But she's 1 second back. You talk about driving yourself out of the medals.
Hang on a minute. 2 sleds ago, Stephanie Schneider came down 4200ths quicker with a near crash. That's not ice conditions. Look at that.
Well, then, what is it? What is it then? I mean, this is last year's bronze medalist.
Yeah. And that
Can't
was
be
then.
a second back. You know, she's 3/10 is the bronze medal at the position now.
Kaylee came
She's
down.
8/10 back.
Kaylee came down 4 sleds ago, 1.1 seconds quicker. It's not ice conditions. Nadyezhda
I'm trying to
Sergeva next
defend
up.
her a little bit.
I know, but she will know it was a shocker. She may not know why.
BFR.
Nadyezhda Sergeva next up, 7th World Championships. 2 6th-place finishes are her best World Championship results, one of which was here last year. She's got Yulia Belemesnik, her go-to brake woman, behind her.
Okay, start. Martin, you know, she's a driver. Oh, look at that skid. Oh, out of the finish curve. Can't make that skid. Let's see if she can get through here, Omega, without hitting here on the exit of the curve. She does. Martin, I noticed her training times are pretty good. I also noticed her teammates, the Russian men, were flying in training too. And that other guy named Zubkov used to do pretty well on this track. Ooh, watch out here. Late with that tap. Still, she's not doing well either. 55, she keeps it within 6/10. Martin, she could get 7. 6/10. Oh, 72. 10. Boy, wow. She was way closer than that in training, Martin.
Yeah.
This is going to be, again, she's very competitive like they all are, but some are more than others. And the body language here will tell it.
Tied with Yulia, with Alicia Rissling for 10th at the moment, behind Cynthia Appia by 300ths.
This is a long run here in Altenberg. Look at her hands transfer to the cowling. Here's the mistake, Martin. This is a no-no. Out of the Benish curve. You can see
Work
that
to do.
look on her eyes.
Yeah. Wants to be in the medals. Not going to happen here. Sylwia Smolarek making her 2nd World Championship start. We met the Polish girls here last year for the very first time, but Julia Slupeka wasn't on the sled then, so this is another World Cup rookie. She's done 3 Europa Cup races and 3 World Cup races. Sylwia, 16th here last year.
Martin, she's a tough young lady athlete, I can tell you that. She crashed a few times in training last year. Didn't phase her, came out and completed all 4 runs. And Martin, I'll say this, she's got a much bigger brake win than she had last year. The 2 of them were the smallest tandem I'd ever seen in a race.
Yeah, Yulia very new to bobsledding. This is her 1st season for the brake woman. Sylwia, this is her 3rd year driving.
Hang in there. For that red flag and get out of here without, don't tap the left-hand wall here. She does. She gets away with it. Martin, we're just cringing at every camera angle. It's that you're just on the edge.
I know, but she's getting it down safe. It may not be the tightest run you'll see, but it's down.
No.
And Brianna Walker of Australia crashed in training as well this week. She's not in the race, and I wonder if she is fine, whether her brake woman is okay, or whether she is just keeping her powder dry for the monobob race next weekend. Women and 2-man
this is the only other team to crash.
Yeah.
She crashed in training. Elisa Riesling crashed in training the first heat, but the next 4 heats they were good. And then, but Brianna Walker crashed her first 2 times down from what I saw on training. Hopefully she's good for next week.
Yeah, I think she might be concentrating on monobob. Busy weekend next weekend. Men and women's skeleton team race, women's monobob and 4-man. Lot going on. Final sled in the first heat for the Bobsleigh Federation of Russia, Anastasia Makarova with her brakewoman Alexandra Tarasova. Makarova just 22. It's the first World Championships for both of them. Silver medalist, the under-23 Junior Worlds, the driver. And 5.80. That's in the hunt when you see that Kaylee started and took the lead off of 5.71.
I don't know if there's any other driver in the field can take a 2,500 deficiency like Humphreys did at the Kreisel and get it into a 1,500s lead, a 1,300s lead. That was pretty special on a sled.
Yeah.
That she's, first time she's been driving it this year.
It's a brand new sled, in fact, so it's new to her this week, that BTC.
Ooh. Watch out, watch out. How many times have I said watch out already?
And I know, it is hard
it's
in
the
your
first
mouth.
heat,
Now
Mark.
imagine being a coach. Imagine being a brake woman.
That's pretty good right there.
15th. Yeah.
Well, first, again, getting down is, back in the day, Mark, bobsledding was about getting to the bottom and just get to the finish and go, wow, I made it. Oh, by the way, what was my time? I think that's what this track presents to a lot of these athletes.
Definitely still is. Yeah, this place in Whistler, very much so. And actually, for a lot of the non-North American athletes, Lake Placid has a little bit of that same mojo about it, John. Not a kind track if you make a mistake.
So does Whistler. Yeah. Martin, if you want to find out the personality of the track, go to the top of it as they're warming up. If they're all talking to each other, it's easy. If it's quiet, you're in Altenberg or Lake Placid or Whistler.
Yeah. Well, I can remember being in the changing rooms in the World Championships in Whistler during training. A couple of forerunners had crashed, and then the second sled down, was it? Third sled down, Cripps crashed, silence. Well, no crashes, but plenty of drama in the first heat here as Kaylee Humphreys and Lolo Jones lead for the USA. The defending champion has a 1/1300th of a second advantage after the first of our 4 heats. Lara Nolte is silver at the moment. Kim Kaliki, last year's silver medalist, lies in 3rd. Alana Myers-Taylor is in the hunt, but Mariam Yamanka 4,800ths back. I'm not sure, unless she has a scorching second heat, she's going to have much to say. She'll be fighting off Katy Bile. And then Martina Fontenev, Stephanie Schneider, Cynthia Appia just ahead of the tie for 10th, Alicia Rissling and Nadezhda Sergeva. Behind her, Andrea Grecu not far away. Then a little gap back to the 90s, Van Nieuwenhuis, Bock, Makarova. And then in the 1 second plus, Hassler, De Bruin, ahead of Misha McNeil, Lubov Chernik and Sylvia Smolarek. And McNeil and Chernik need to find something very special for the second heat. The second heat coming up this morning from the Sachsen Energie Ice Canal here in Altenberg. And they will be on ice at just after midday local time. From John Morgan, me, Martin Haven, and the BMW IBSF TV crew here. Stay safe. Join us for the second heat.
Germany, you're